Hi friends, and welcome to today's video. I'm Jeanette. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm glad you're here. On this channel we learn alcohol ink, watercolor, and other creative art projects together. And today's video is not necessarily a tutorial because, well, here's a story. My neighbor is turning, I think 10 or 11, I'm not sure. She's the sweetest, most wonderful little girl, and she's very interested in art. So she comes over now and then, and I teach her how to paint or draw. And anyway, I was asked to teach her friends how to paint. So one of the projects is going to be a pencil sketch. I've got that covered. But the other one is going to be how to paint a flower on a canvas using acrylic paint. So when I started with art many, many years ago, my children were babies, I used to work with acrylic paint. But that was so long ago, I don't remember. So I figured I should practice this flower before I hit this birthday party and disappoint little Ava. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to practice how to paint a sunflower on a small canvas using inexpensive acrylic paints. The ones I'm using are just craft paints purchased at Michael's or Amazon. But anyway, here we go. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Okay, so I have a tiny little canvas here, and I have just a couple of brushes, one of them being kind of like a scrubby brush, one that you would use for stenciling. I'm going to use this for the center. I have my blow dryer because I am going to be blow drying the paint, or rather drying the paint using the blow dryer. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to kind of prime my canvas. So I'm just going to use this cream color that I have. I also have a paper plate here with all the colors I intend on using. But again, I want to prime my canvas. So I'm just going to use this beige color to do that. I want to add a thin coat. And I mean, this is a children's party, so I'm not using gesso or anything to prime the canvas. I'm just using some paint. I've done a lot of large acrylic paintings, but not using craft paints. So, yeah, I thought it would be a really good idea to practice this before I go over there and make a fool of myself in front of Ava. This is the sweetest, most wonderful little girl. Every time she sees me, she compliments me on something. She's raised right. That's all I can say. She's polite. She's helpful. When she sees me taking out the garbage, she always offers to help me. She's just wonderful. So I really don't want to disappoint her. Okay, so I painted the sides as well. And now I should have gotten some water, which I didn't do, but I'll do that in a second. And I did manage to get some water. And I want to paint a blue background, so I chose this pretty blue because I think it contrasts nicely with the colors that I'm using. So yeah, let's paint this background. And I like brush marks, although this paint is not really heavy enough to create the brush strokes that I like, but that's okay. We're going to work with it anyway. I guess I should paint the sides again. So let's just do that real quick. Now, her grandmother bought all the supplies, but I'm going to have to go over there today and take a look at what she bought to make sure that we have everything that we need. I can't believe I'm actually a little nervous about this. I sit in front of a camera and teach thousands of people what I know, but sitting in front of 12 10-year-olds is making me nervous. I guess because I really don't want to disappoint Ava. I want her party to be fun and memorable. I want her to be happy. So maybe that's why. Okay, let's dry this one more time. Okay, for the next step, I want the center of my flower to be in the corner of the canvas. So I have a little bowl here, And I am going to trace this using just a mechanical pencil. There we go. All right, that's okay. And now I'm going to use a round brush. This is an inexpensive paintbrush, a size 6 round. And what I'm going to do is I am going to double load. That's what I was thinking of doing, double loading my brush. And what that means is that on one side of the brush you have one paint. This paint is kind of gloppy. I don't know how this is going to work. And on the other side, this is how I'm going to teach them because it's very simple. I'm going to pick up some of the yellow. And I'm going to start painting my petals by having the yellow on one side, the orange on the other, and I'm meeting up with that line, and I am going to touch the tip to the canvas, and then I am going to push down and create a petal. And if you want it a little bit thicker, that petal, then just go on the other side. And I'm going to try and keep it as simple as possible. And I'm going to go around and do the same thing again and again until I'm happy with the way it looks. And you can turn your brush to keep the orange on the outside and the yellow on the inside, whatever you want. But again, I'm teaching a bunch of very young girls, and I think that this will be perfect for them because it's very simple. I just want a variation of color in the petals. So I'm going to turn my canvas just so that it's easier for me. Yeah, this paint is, there's clumps in it. So it's old. That's how long this craft paint has been sitting in my drawer. Okay, so now we have our base petals down. And we're going to wait for that to dry or dry it off with the blow dryer. And I'm just going to add a couple more little colors in here. I know I'm getting carried away. Our first petals are dry, or almost dry. So now I want to use more yellow than orange. So I'm going to pick up orange and maybe a little bit of the yellow. And I'm going to do petals in between. And again, I'm keeping this as simple as I possibly can because I don't know how these little girls are going to, if they're going to have the attention span. It's a party, so, you know, there's going to be presents and cake and sugar. And I just want to make sure I can keep their attention long enough so that we can make a little pretty painting for them to take with them. So I'm going in between the petals that I already painted. And I'm only picking up a little bit of the orange, not very much. And we're creating more petals. All right, let's let that dry now. Okay, so this is mostly dry now, so I want to add some more petals. I'm going to mix a little bit of the yellow with this creamy color that I have here, just to make it a little bit brighter. And I'm not going to use much of that orange. And I'm just going to paint a few petals here and there. Maybe some shorter ones. Let's do a little bit over here. Okay, let's let that dry again, and then we'll start with the center. Okay, that is mostly dry now. So I'm going to use the scrubby brush, and I'm going to grab some of that brown, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing. I'm tapping it onto the paper dish like this. And I'm going to, oh, the paint is falling off this paintbrush. It's so old. That's not good. All right, and I'm going to start following that line, and I'm going to start tapping in that brown. I figured this would be easy for these little girls. I'm going to mix a little bit of the black with that brown, and I'm going to add that here. Now to that brown, I'm going to add a little bit of this yellow to lighten it up a little bit. I'm going to start to tap that in. I'm going to pick up more of that yellow, maybe a little bit of that white. I'm going to tap it into the brown, mix it up. If you have too much on your brush, just tap it off on the paper towel. And then I'm going to go around and add color until I'm happy with the way it looks. Okay, I'm going to leave it alone. That's simple enough. And that's it. I'm going to leave it that simple for these little girls. And of course, if it were for me, if I was doing this as a painting that I wanted for myself, I wouldn't stop there. I would grab my micron pens and I would start outlining these petals. This is a size 505 micron pen, and I'm doing this really lightly. I think this would be too much to do for the party. But I'm going to make this one and give it to Ava as a little gift. And then I'm going to clean the nib off because I can see I got some paint on there. And I'm going to switch out to a size 3 micron pen. And I'm going to create my usual little lines for a little detail in there, a little shading. Turning it is much easier for me, so that's what I'm going to do. And I think that's enough. I am going to leave it alone. I don't know, what do you think? Is that good for a group of 10-year-old little girls? Do you think that's simple enough? Let me know in the comments, and once the party is over, I'll come back and I'll let you know how it went, and I'll be sure to take some pictures so that I can share them with you on my Facebook group, Vivo Vintage Design Tutorials. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching me practice this, and keep your fingers crossed for me. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.